All right, so we're going to continue to learn Git. This is a Git tutorial for beginners. It's part of a crash course that I have on my site. If you want to take the whole course, it's an awesome course. It's a collection of all kinds of topics, including a full Git tutorial. Just go to supersqa.com/engineering toolkit. I'll put it on the screen as well. So in the previous video, we looked at how to clone, how to created a project or repository, cloned it into our local machine, and we made changes. We're going to make changes right now, okay? So the next command after you clone it is actually making changes and saving those changes. So we're going to look at commands like git diff, git status, and git commit in this video. So let's get right into it. All right, so we are going to continue on our project. So far we cloned the repository, we created a branch, and we checked out that branch. If I do git branch, oops, not bit, git, what am I doing that? Git branch, we can see we are on that branch. Okay, so let's open this. Let's actually open the project in VS Code, any IDE you like. If you're into PyCharm, use PyCharm, IntelliJ, anything. But VS Code right now, I'm using VS Code. So I'm going to go to File, Open. Again, this is for beginners, so I'm doing everything like from a very basic way. I'm going to go to my folder. This is a project, right? Git course example 1. That's the project we created. I'm going to open it, and I'm going to just create a new file. In this case, just as an example, I'm going to create an HTML file. I'm going to say new file. I'm going to call it home, or I'm just going to say index.html, which is usually the HTML page for home. And I'm going to do html, and there's a head usually, and there's a body usually. I don't need to get into this detail. Then I'm just going to put like a header. Okay, this is an h1 header. Bam, just like that. Okay, we can open this HTML, but like there's no point in doing that. So I just created this file. So if I go back to the terminal, once you're comfortable with Git, you can do a lot of things right here in the IDE. You see this little thing that has to do with Git. It's asking us to commit. We just talk about it in a little bit. You can do everything I'm doing in the command line. We can actually do it in the UI, but you have to learn this command line. So that's what I always use the command line. I barely use the UI. Okay, so let's clear the screen. Now, if I do git status, that's a new command we haven't used so far. So we want to see what the status is, right? Git status. So when you do git status, it will tell you a bunch of things. Right now, it's saying in this file and this folder, there is untracked file. This file is not being tracked by Git. Git is not keeping track of it. Like whatever you do to this file, Git is not going to care, but it's not tracked. It's a new file, and we never told it to track. If you're using PyCharm, I know a lot of times when I use PyCharm, I have Git integrated, and when I create a new file, it always asks me like, hey, there's a pop-up that says, do you want to track this in Git? And you can say yes or no. If you do, it automatically tracks it. So in this case, we didn't tell it to track it. So we're going to tell it to track it. We're going to say git add index.html. Okay, I'm hitting tab as soon as I type in and tab to finish it for me. So git add index, git add the file name. Okay, you can be a folder name, it can be a file name. That's another command, git add. So far we have not talked about it. This is the first time. Git add, hit enter. I'm going to do git status again. Okay, I'm going to type it actually, git status, hit enter. Now, remember earlier it said untracked file. Now it's saying changes to be committed, right? Changes to be committed. It puts it into a section. It's going to have different sections. There's nothing that's untracked here, right? So let me create another file. I'm going to say new file. I'm going to say page1.html, and we can leave it empty, or let's just copy that. And this is like an example of an h6. Okay, this is an example of h6. This should have modified it automatically, it did not. So now if I do git status, now there are two sections: changes to be committed and tracked file. This file is not tracked at all, and this is a new file that got added and it's ready to be committed. Okay, and sometimes it gives you hints on what you might want to do. Restore staged. So what this means is, when it say, that's the word I should have used, changes to be committed. So there's a staging area, right before you commit it, you can put it into a staging area. then you commit it. Committing meaning, it's a special term in Git, but it's kind of like save. Once you commit something, you kind of save it. You can revert it, of course, but you kind of save it. Things get a little complicated once you commit it. So committing, you're going to use the word a lot. Hey, what is a commit? Did you commit the code? You're going to hear that word a lot, so be familiar with it. It just means saving the word. So before you save it, you actually put it into like a staging area. So we created the file. That's untracked file, right? And when I did git add, we basically put it in a staging area ready to be committed. So the next thing you're going to do is you're going to actually commit it. So that's the next command we're going to look at is git commit. Git commit, okay? So when you do git commit, there's a lot of rules. You usually want to put in a message for the commit, a git commit message. So for that, you're going to do -m, stands for message, and then you're going to open and close quotes. Inside of the quotes, you're going to put whatever you want, just comments. Depending on the rules of the company, if you work for a company, they might force you a standard structure, right? For example, if you have to have a JIRA ticket. Every work you do, every commit you're doing, it has to be related to some kind of JIRA ticket, some kind of JIRA issue. So they force you to put in the JIRA number in your commit message, right? In this case, we don't have any rules around like that. So we're going to put any comment we want. I'm going to say my first commit, okay? So I'm going to hit enter. So remember this is a new command. We looked at git status, we looked at git add, and now we're looking at git commit. And git commit takes in an argument of message, okay? So you can hit enter, and now there's some messages. And if I do git status, okay, let me clear the screen to make it easier to see. If I do git status again, you do git status all the time. Git status to see what the status is. Now you see nothing is there. There's nothing in the staging area. There's only the file that is not tracked, right? Because once you commit it, it's saved. All you got to do is push it. So locally you saved it. You say I made my changes. I'm committed to basically to put in this change. I made a commitment. That's kind of what you're saying. I made a commitment. So it doesn't show you in the git status. You can just push it. So it's basically that's why it's saying here, hey, you can do git push if you want to push your local commit. So that is a local commit, and you want to push it to the remote. Always think about local versus remote. Remote is GitHub out there. Local is basically everything we're doing here. Just a side note, if it's another new command, if you want to see what the remote is for this, you're going to do git remote -v, lowercase v. It will tell you the address for the remote. That's how you know if this directory is tracked by remote or not. Another one is ls-la. If you look at the hidden files, there's always a .git folder, a hidden folder here. That means if there's a hidden folder, that's how Git actually keeps track. That's the internals of Git. That's how it keeps track of things. So if you see .git inside of a folder, you know that's a Git folder. You can also do git remote -v to see what the remote looks like. Okay, so let's just make a quick change. So this file is not committed. This file is committed. Let's just make a change. Let's just say instead of saying three exclamation marks, I'm just going to do one. I just modified the file, right? Just modified it. So let me clear the screen. Now if I do git status, it shows me, hey, this file has been modified since you have committed last time. Okay, so now we can add it to be committed. If we're ready to commit it, now we're going to make an add. Okay, so this is actually it's not staged for commit yet. It made a change, right? So this guy, Git is not tracking it. Git doesn't know anything about it. This guy was committed before, it's been tracked before, but now there is a change on it, so it's ready to be committed. So we can add it to a staging area to be committed. And how do we add it to a staging area? We do git add. So we're going to do git add index.html, hit enter, git status, and there you go. It says it's modified. Earlier this way, new file. It is modified and it is ready to be committed. Okay, so I'm going to clear. I'm going to commit. How do you commit something? Git commit -m and the message. What are the changes? I can say changed the triple marks, exclamation marks, because I don't know how to spell exclamation, to 2. Just a comment, hit enter. I just committed. If I do git status, there it is. It's committed. There's nothing on staging area, and there is nothing to be added to the staging area. Okay, so one last command for this video before we go to the next video. I just want to show you the diff command. So instead of 2, let me just change it one more time. You can make any changes. I can duplicate this. I can, like, let's say this is h2 and this one is h2 and this is h2. I just made a change. Now if I do git status, it shows me this file has been changed. So let me clear it. So if I want to see what the change is before I actually add it to be committed, before I commit myself into adding it, I want to see what the change is. So now the new command, what is it? Git diff. Okay, that's one of the most common ones we use a lot. Git diff, D-I-F-F, and the file name, index.html. You can actually, if you don't give it the file name, it will show you all the diffs, because sometimes, most of the time, you're going to make changes to a lot of files. And when you do git diff, it will show you all the changes. If you want to see the change in that particular file, then you're going to do give it the file. So in this case, I did git diff and give it the file, and it shows me the differences, the previous and before. So the red is what's been deleted and the green is what's been added. So if you look at it, this is a new line, and there was 2 here and there's 1 here. Okay, it shows me the differences. Git diff. We're gonna do this repeatedly, so it's gonna make sense. If I do git status, it says this guy is ready to be committed. So I'm going to git add index. Okay, I'm going to clear. I'm going to git status. So I've added it. Now it's ready to be committed. So let's commit it. Git commit dash am. I'll talk about am later. And we're going to do the message added the second line to index file. Hit enter. Git status. There you go. Now it is committed. Okay, so we saved it. All our changes we committed. We made a commitment to basically keep it. So now what we have to do is we have to push it to the remote and basically merge it to main. So let's go to another video and continue working on this project. I hope everything went smooth for you as it did for me. If you run into any issues, post it in the comment. I'll be happy to address those issues. And if you like the content, if you're following along, take the course. It's a free course. It's a free crash course that has Git and other automation essentials. It's a toolkit for engineers. It's a really awesome course and it's for free. And I think everybody getting into this engineering field needs to know those things. And I put together what I know and what I think is important. So it's a free course. Check it out. It's quite nice. And if you like the video, please like, subscribe to the channel, and go through if you don't want to take the course, just go through the playlist, which is included on the side.